Hey, GutFox here. So we got the reveal launch on Mudhead today. Pretty exciting day. I spent all afternoon, literally hours and hours, looking through Mudhead for these elites. Seakucumber actually put together a nice little spreadsheet. As you can see, his name right here. He's taking credit for it, for what he says when it eventually gets passed around Twitter, like his yesterday did. He did another one of these things for all the elite card art. Anyways, what I'm going to do during this video, and this spreadsheet will be linked in the description, credit to Seakucumber, like I said. Seakucumber, he said I was forced to say his name 5 times, so I'll try and work it in through the rest of the video. I'll go through some of these top cards, give my thoughts on them, and some of the stats that have changed going into 17. Something like to keep an eye on, a few things that I noticed going through, and you'll see in a lot of these Mudhead card reviews, I made some sort of dumb comment and a lot of the comments to... I don't know, just because I wanted to waste my time. So that's what I've been doing. I also want to go through some of the ones that he may have missed. He also, Tyrod the Goat, TPN, made this list on Reddit. I think this might be like a script or something to mess with our mind. But he found a lot of these good ones. It was invaluable earlier today looking through this list. So let's go to the Mudhead Elites. Go right off the bat for these top legend cards. As we know, the top 4 legends are going to be Carter, Moon, Falk, and Munoz. If you paid attention to some of my hints that I've given, I said in one video Warren Moon was the legend that we're going to get at launch. I also put on Twitter that one of the legends rhymed with barter. Marshall Falk, I put in a thumbnail about a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So if you pay attention to some of the hints I was dropping, you knew these legends a little earlier than the rest of maybe the population did. All right, so Carter. Okay, so first of all, don't come at me and say these stats suck compared to 17. It looks like my voice is very loud in this mic. Sorry, I'm turning it down a little bit. Hopefully it's a little bit better. Sorry if I was yelling. Still am. Anyways, look at the Mudhead ratings and then ignore them. This is basically comparing these cards to the rest of the entire pool of players. It's kind of like a weighting system, but the important stats are down here. So, 88 speed. That's faster than any DB I've seen. For Chris Carter. Chris Carter. This is like old-looking Chris Carter. Anyways, 92 catching. Great stats in this card. The interesting thing, this is something I want you to pay attention to. These blocking and run block and block shed on wide receivers and DBs. It seems to have been quite boosted. Quite, yeah, I guess boosted is the right word going into 18 versus 17 because Chris Carter is 62. When I get into Antonio Brown, he's like 69. It's crazy. But otherwise, the rest of these stats, solid. He'll be a top tier wide receiver for months. As we saw in 17 and 18, I assume he's going to be the same thing. Moving on to Moon. Moon is probably the, I think I just had to hover over it, right? There we go. This is probably the, oh, there's one of my, I'm not going to spoil it here. You can go to it yourself. The top quarterback in the game. I think the highest throw power I've seen, which makes sense. He's the highest overall. Speed 73, so he's not hugely mobile, but he can move around a little bit better than a lot of the linemen that you're going to see. But just try not to take a hit. Carrying 66 is solid, but nothing outstanding. Falk here. There we go. Let's Falk it up. 90 speed. That's the fastest card I've seen. I think I've seen 90 speed wide receivers too. 90 acceleration, 91 agility, 91 elusiveness. So he's going to get those tier 1 elusive moves, spin move, and juke move. So this is going to be a handful when the game started. Plus, a catching back better than Le'Veon Bell, which, I mean, Falk is a legendary running back out of the backfield. So, great card there. Otherwise, it seems like they've made these legend cards the best cards in the game. Obviously, the 91 overall, but like in all stats. Like, there's no variation on a lot of these things. Like this run block, pass block, that's right. Like this didn't get nerfed. Like we see a lot of speed got nerfed in 18 going forward. The same with the throw power. But blocking, those stats seem to be consistent from where we saw them last year on the launch ratings for those. Like I made a note on the, who was it? I don't know, one of these guys that they didn't get nerfed from last year. They actually got better stats on the offensive lineman, so there was no nerfing of them. Le'Veon Bell. I sometimes abbreviate some of my words. All right, so 85 speed. And then these trash chemistries. He's got toughness chemistry. Doesn't boost up elusiveness, stiff arm, spin move, or juke move. So he's got 89 on all those, which means he has tier, like the second tiers. Like EA calls him tier 4 instead of tier 5, but I call him tier 2. So tier 2 because of the tier 1 are the best in my opinion. Or that's what I've been calling them. There isn't really a set phrase for the community. But having under 90 to not get those elite animations kind of sucks. They screwed him. They gave him a good overall, but they screwed him by only giving him 89s. I think we might be able to bring those up to 90 if we get his entire chemistry, the Pittsburgh team chem, for not just these Pittsburgh Steelers chemistry boots, but all the stadiums, the uniforms, all that jazz that they talked about in the blog. So maybe he gets up to 90 for all of them and just balls out, but I'll try to do a review on that Le'Veon Bell. These 90 overalls are going to be expensive as hell. Remember they were at the start of 17? Like 200, 250, 300,000 coins? I hope Le'Veon Bell isn't going for that much. Antonio Brown, another one of the killer bees. 86 speed. I mean, look at this 69 run block on a wide receiver. This is, I saw, who was the fourth you guys said? Levante David's got 70 block shed. So this wide receiver, this 5'10", 181 wide receiver, 69 run block, essentially an equal amount to the 70 block shed that one of the best 4-3 outside linebackers has. So that'll be interesting to see. I think it may have to do with their increased, I don't know how they balance it. Maybe they just did it accidentally. Maybe they did it on purpose. But because this game is going to be based much more on weight and stuff rather than some of the stats, like they're saying weight's playing a lot more of a role into the dice rolls and the factor than this. So maybe they had to boost the blocking and impact block because these guys weigh a little bit less in order to balance them better against, say, bigger linebackers. Who knows? It makes sense. Talking about a big linebacker, probably the best one in the league, in many people's opinions. Kuechly, 6'3", 238, speed 80. Kind of slow. He's no Shaz there, but he's a good like CPU linebacker. He's way too high overall. He's going to be way too expensive to user early on in the game. And by the time he comes down in price, there'll be many other better users like in December when it drops. Otherwise, zone coverage high, block shed high, hit power, play rec. Beautiful. Beautiful. Non-users CPU linebacker. Okay. I don't know how much more you guys want me to do. I'm going to do a budget team when the full database launches so I can see everybody's stats at once. This spreadsheet goes through all the elites. So it goes all the way down to 80. I think we can, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you guys found anybody like amazingly that really stuck out. It was funny, some of the card art was messed up too. But I'll be going through the GOATs and the free elites we get in a separate video. Hopefully I'm going to launch it tonight too. And then we'll talk through which one of these Jerry Rice and Barry Sanders to get and whatnot. But that's it. Just some brief little mini reviews of the Madden 18 cards. Look through them yourself. Definitely I had a good time. Yeah, I guess I'll talk to you guys later.